Hi guys, Olga Headline here, and today I have for you this masculine canvas that I created with Craft&You design paper collection. Collection is called Vintage Men, and it's really totally right from my alley. So I will start with telling you that I prepared this tiny canvas with a piece of chipboard, and I cover it with white glue. I really like to use white glue to stick chipboards and to wrap paper around stuff because it sticks really fast, and it's really nice base for your mixed media project because white glue will connect with paper in this way, like paper mache is created, so it will give me really nice base. So I'm just wrapping my paper all around. I'm making sure that all my creases are there. I'm cutting out the excess and I'm wrapping the whole project. And this project, to the half of the video, it didn't, in around half of the video you will see that it didn't came out as I expected. It didn't came out as I wanted, and it's my second approach to this project. I got a lot of requests to make a small mixed media project, small easy mixed media project, so nothing super fancy, something that everyone can recreate without any super special mediums. So I thought that that's the easiest that I can go. If it's too complicated, I will try to simplify a little bit, but I think that this one is cute. It's quite easy and quick to make, and I left the flop in the video because when I did it in the past you really liked it, and I think that it's important for everyone to know that we all screw up sometimes. It's important how we will come up from the screw ups, and every time when you destroy something, when something will not go as you planned, it's a good opportunity to learn and to try the new ideas, because in the moment when you don't like your project at all, you can try everything on top of that, because in the worst case scenario you will just scratch it. And the first version I have to scratch it because I used rust and it didn't react it like I expected it to react. I think it's because we got a heat wave, and because of the heat it didn't work like I wanted. So when my canvas is wrapped with paper, I decided to secure the edges with painter's tape. And I put a little bit into my background. And to be honest, at the final stage, you can't see all those layers. But I don't mind that. Those layers, you don't have to see them. They are just the background, and I like to create projects like that. I like to build up those layers, and it makes it fun for me. So I don't care if I cannot see all those yumminess at the final stage. I know that it's there. So to create a little bit more dimension and interest into my background, I decided to stack my papers together. Oh, I would forget. I have this piece of paper with the Vintage Man printed on, and I cover it with Mod Podge epoxy, but you can use glossy accent. I just find that this epoxy dries better, that dries quicker, and it's even more shiny, and it works the same, but you can replace it with glossy accent or gel medium. I just wanted to protect my fussy cut element in case that I will have some boo-boo. I can just wipe it off, and I will still have really nice men's silhouette. And if you don't cover your paper with anything, then when it gets dirty, it's really hard to remove the paint from it. So I'm stacking my papers together, like 3 or more layers, to get those a little bit thicker elements. I will cut it to small pieces later on to build up like 3D collage piece. and I will cover them with translucent gestures, so they will be nice and sturdy, and it will give me a really nice base to put some fun media on. So to stack my papers, I'm using the same white glue. You can use any craft glue, it just happened that I had this one handy. It's important to distribute it in nice even thin coat. And now you can see the difference in thickness from one layer of the paper and the papers that I stuck together. To stick all my elements, I decided to go with gel medium, and lately I like to scoop a little bit of gel medium to separate container to make sure that my jar is not drying, because it can stand over there for a really long time. And to cover all my elements, to have my nice protective layer, I will use a Liquitex clear gesso. I really love this gesso, it's lately my favorite. It gives you nice tooth, nice texture on your project, and it helps to spread everything really nicely. I will explain that later on a little bit more in detail. And I'm just placing my elements. I'm mixing my dimensional pieces and my flat pieces together to create this nice collation background. And I was going for the man sitting under the wall full of advertisement. I just had it on my mind, and it was logic, and I thought that it will look really nice. So now I'm putting a little bit of this clear gesso on top of my project. I want nice coat, and I'm making sure that with my brush I filled all the crevices, all the nooks and crannies, and everything is protected. And then you have to leave it for a dry. To my guy, that is paper cutout, I added metal wings, and I went with my crayons. If you don't have distress crayons, you can use gelato or any water soluble crayons. I'm using different ones just to have fun, and I want to give it like old patina look. And this nasty piece of cloth that you can see in the video, I didn't use the clean ones, so sorry for that. It's actually the piece of kitchen cloth that I just dump with the water, and it helps me to move my gelatos and my crayons all around. I picked few more colors because I thought that this stage is too light. Actually, I should stop at this stage because I went in with browns, and I'm using here Inktense pencils, and I love them. They are so fabulous, and they blend so nicely. They give me really nice effect, and they are like watercolor crayons, but once they dry, after you activate them once, they don't smudge so much anymore, and they have really nice vibrant ink into them. So I'm applying my color, and then I'm removing the excess, because my goal was to have those colors stuck only in the crevices of my artwork, and for me to be still able to see all the prints on the paper. At this stage, I thought that it doesn't do it for me, because the guy will not stand out at this background at all. So I thought that I will lighten it up. I use the pastel in the crayon. It's from Faber-Castell. You can use also the chalk. And then I added some splashes, and I went too heavy with my splashes. I wanted just a tiny bit, and then something happened. I just didn't control it, and it was too much, and everything started to be muddy. First I thought, okay, I don't like it, I will just add a little bit more, and then I was like, nah, I will remove that. But again, we had a heat wave, so my paint was already too dry to remove, so we got this mess. I tried to water it down, and just to make it look like it's dusty and foggy, but it didn't work so well. So I decided to assemble the project anyway, and maybe I will like the final version, who knows. I added a few screws here and there. I really like them as an accent in masculine or steampunky works, because they look like the head of the screw, and I just like those elements, so why not? So I put all those elements, and then I was like, no, it still doesn't look like I wanted. So I decided to add one more layer, and I'm using here this chicken wire mesh, and that I got in my stash, because I think that this layer is so nice. You know, it separates my foreground from my background. And in real life, actually, it improved my work a little bit, but then I checked on the camera that you actually cannot see it. You cannot see it on the photo, you cannot see it on the footage, that there is a guy sitting in front of the wall. It just looked like one big mess, and I was super unhappy with that. So in a few minutes, you will see me deassembling all the project, and what was my thought process when I decided to change stuff a little bit. So I looked at him and I thought that, first of all, I lost all those nice prints that are on those paper elements. Second of all, I lost my silhouette on the background. So yeah, the layers are there, and when you look really closely, you can distinguish the silhouette from the background, but actually it still looks muddy. So I cut out some of the lightest elements. I wipe off all the gel medium that I had on my project, and I decided to go with yellows and oranges to cheer up the background. And you know, as the final result, I really like this project, and it came out really nice. So I smudged the crayons a little bit, and I really like to use gelatos and distress crayons, because it's so easy to, you know, move the color. You can also use the watercolor if you don't have those products. I just felt like playing a little bit with my stash. And I really like the process of wiping off and adding on the product and wiping it off. So again, I thought that I will lighten up the background with white gesso, because in case that I don't like it, I can cover it with those die cuts. And I did, because white gesso didn't work so well. It's hard to pick up on the camera, but I noticed that it started to pick up the color from the crayon, so it will be, you know, again, foggy yellowy mess. So I decided to go with my second original idea, and just covered everything with those light train tickets that I cut off from the paper. I cut off all those lighter elements that I had on my paper, and there is an element with a lot of tiny labels with sentiments, and I decided to use it as a color accents here and there in my artwork. And I have to tell you that this second version of the project, I like it much more. To make my guy stand out a little bit more, I cut out a piece with the white background. I believe that it's a vintage advertisement for some kind of ink, and I placed my guy back to his spot on the wall of advertisements. And I think that it looks really cool. Now he stands out from the background. You can see all the elements, and I really like my new version of the project. So my final touch was wiping off some areas to have a little bit more light here and there, because light elements will bring back your attention to the darker ones. I made sure that everything is nice and straight, and that's the final result. I hope that you liked my project, and all the products, all the info will be in the description box down below. And this video is going live on the Friday morning. That means on the evening we have chance to meet up on the live on Craft&You Design Facebook. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. Have a nice and creative day, and see you in the next one. Bye!